Yar, we be starting.
Arrgh! It be a One Piece themed Fursuit Friday review video. Arrgh! Hi everybody, happy Fursuit Friday!
Happy Fursuit Friday!
So, Azurean and I have been catching up on a lot of the One Piece anime. I myself have been way ahead in the manga, being up to volume 103 at the moment.
I've read up to 203.
Anyhow, thanks to Toonami dropping a whole ton of episodes
Did they
for
break?
several years, I missed out on a whole section of the series in anime form, which I was thankfully able to catch up with thanks to watching them with Azurean. And it was kind of interesting getting to compare them to the manga, as well as the fact that, you know, being in text, I didn't know how some characters' names are pronounced. The one that stands out the most to me is
Monkey D. Luffy.
Capone Gang Beige. I had always thought it was Bege.
This one's never seen beige written out.
It's
I see
Bege.
Oh.
So I thought Bege. But yeah, it's apparently beige.
Buff beige.
But in any case,
Foundation.
we watched all of Thriller Bark.
Yeah, with all three of our eyes.
We watched the Sabaody Archipelago arc, which is what this is from. Then we watched the Amazon Lily arc. Then the Impel Down arc and the Warp Marineford. And the post-war arcs. And currently, Azurean has been watching the Return to Sabaody and just started the Fishman Island arc. Now, I had seen those last two already on Toonami, since that's where they picked the series back up. So I'm okay with her watching those on her own, since she's wanting to use her free time while I'm at work to watch the show while she's not at work. But yeah, we also watched the movie Strong World, which actually takes place in between the Thriller Bark and Sabaody arcs, as it's just after Brook has joined the crew. Now, well, first we'll talk about our thoughts on the series up to that point. Then we'll go into talking about the movie. But yeah, this will be very spoiler stuff for the anime, as this is like stuff that came out many years ago. In fact, all over a decade, as I recall.
I came out a few years ago.
But yeah, so yeah, if you haven't seen One Piece and you actually care to not be spoiled on it, you know, we won't blame you for stopping the video here. But we highly recommend One Piece. We think it's really great. And
it's a story about the Grand Line. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely avoid watching the 4Kids version other than the theme song. The theme song is worth checking out, but other than that, they censored the heck out of the show.
Yo ho ho, we took a bite of gum gum.
Yeah.
They censored so much. Also, I even though it's what brought me into the show and got me interested on eventually catching up, I absolutely loathe Sanji's voice in the 4Kids dub.
Hey, yo, it's me, Sanji.
Oh my god.
I like smoking the lollipops.
Yeah, it was so bad.
I don't know why I got stuffed up nose all the time.
Yeah, I at no point acclimated or got used to that voice. And when I first watched one of the better dubs, I was like crossing my fingers like, okay, Luffy sounds good.
Yeah.
I hope Sanji's fixed. It's like, they're not going to fix him. And then they did. I'm like, yay! My God.
So anyhow, yeah, getting back to the story arcs we're talking about here. So Thriller Bark, very long, pivotal chapter in which we meet Skeleton Brook. He was actually the second in command of his former crew before they all died, and because he ate a devil fruit that is called the revive fruit, he came back from the dead. But it he took so long finding his body that all that was left was a skeleton. So when he came back to life, he was a reanimated skeleton. And his character is like extremely full of jokes. Everything about him is some kind of bit of humor, because he's always making references to some sort of human body feature that he doesn't have anymore, and as if he had them, and yet somehow he's able to see, smell, taste, and talk, regardless of having not having the organs.
You missed the important one. The first question I think Luffy asks him, if he number twos.
Poops, yeah.
And he said, yes, certainly, I poop.
Yes, somehow.
Yes. So and it seems fairly consistent. He gets hungry and eats, and
and milk heals him.
Yeah.
Because he's a skeleton, milk is the immediate healer somehow. But anyhow, his whole deal is that his shadow was stolen by the big villain of the arc, and over the course of the series of the saga, several of the crew end up losing their shadows to the villain, and the rather big event, other than Brook, is that Zoro ends up finding a zombie samurai who has a special cursed sword that when he beats him, he bequeaths it to Zoro. He had previously lost one of his swords at the end of the previous saga to a marine with BS rust power. He's just able to grab it, and it eroded into like nothing. And it's just like, come on, really? It was such a lame way to have him just randomly lose a sword. But hey, it was all in service of him getting a better sword at the next arc. But yeah, so Brook joined the crew, and Zoro getting his new sword were like the two biggest parts of that one. But yeah, after that is, like I said, when the movie takes place, but we'll skip by that for just a moment. Next they end up going to it's a mangrove of multiple trees that make up a semi-island chain, but not actually islands, which is very key to the story that it's not actually islands. They end up finding out about the 11 supernovas. The 9 other pirates who have bounties of over 100 million. Zoro and Luffy being 2 of the supernovas, and the rest being Scratchman Apu, Uroge, who I always thought it was Uroge, so that was another one I learned how to pronounce it. Diaz Drake, or X Drake, Jewelry Bonnie, we've got, like I said before, Capone Gang Beige, Trafalgar Law, Captain Eustace Kidd, and Basil Hawkins. Yeah, I remember them all. And Killer. Killer is actually
a crocodile.
Captain Kidd's second in command. He and Zoro are the only 2 who aren't the captains of their crew. Each one of them are very interesting characters. Some even more so than the rest. Being one guy is like entire body is musical instruments somehow, and they don't actually fully explain what all their deals are. We eventually start learning more about them at the end of the first half of the series. As they start coming out and being more involved in the story. The only one on the list who is higher than Luffy is Captain Kidd, the one with the red hair there. And we find out that's because, he kills indiscriminately. It doesn't matter if, they're enemies in his way or innocent bystanders, he doesn't care. And that's why the government has put a higher bounty on him than even Luffy, who's taken down some really big names. But anyhow, it's at Sabaody where they realize they are outmatched. They are not strong enough. Up until now, nothing has been able to defeat them and keep them defeated. They've managed to persevere every time, as protagonists in an anime series typically do. But in a quite a twist, I'd say, on the genre, they find that they cannot succumb this new enemy, and they actually get split up. They all get sent off to different islands, and as it turns out, each one of them ends up being able to improve their skills on this island. Though not quite coincidentally, it turns out that the force that sent them there actually did so with some intent. Although how they managed to do that or knew where to send them is rather unclear. They do not make any sort of claim of why they knew where to send them or how to like pick where they needed to go. It's just some inherent power they have, I guess. But in any case, most of the story ends up following Luffy as he ends up on Amazon Lily, an island of nothing but women. And at first they don't realize that Luffy is a boy, as they're unfamiliar with them. He accidentally gets infected with mushroom parasites from eating random mushrooms in the woods.
He eats the mushroom fruit.
And yeah, they bring him back into the village and try to get rid of all the mushrooms on his body.
Okay. You get the idea, right?
Yeah, they made that joke. And he eventually meets the Empress Boa Hancock, who is their leader. And
she related
I
to
think
Jonathan?
you have it over there. But yeah, she ends up kind of falling for him because he's the one man who is is she on that one? I guess she is. Yeah, she is. No, wait, is that her? That's not her. That's the woman
no,
from
you're
Luffy
right. That's
sometime.
not her. Sorry, my eyes. It's hard to see.
Look for the one with the rainbow on it. But yeah, so basically her whole thing is that she's like the world's most beautiful woman, and every marine or pirate like falls deeply in love with her because of how gorgeous she is, and she can do nothing. No, not even kicking puppies will get people to think badly of her. And literally, she demonstrates this, and I feel like it's just intentionally set up like in advance just to push this narrative. But in any case, she finds that Luffy is immune to her ability to turn people who fall in love with her to stone.
Yeah, because Luffy seems to be Ace.
Yes. Ironically, he has a brother named Ace, but he appears to be asexual. He doesn't seem to have any kind of interest in anything but adventure and fighting.
Mm-hmm. And he'll state so, plainly. He's just not
and
interested.
meat. He loves meat.
He loves meat, so it's kind of unusual that he'd be Ace.
But in any case,
Get it?
No, I don't. Help me out.
Meat? He likes meat? Because, come on! I don't have to spell this out for you.
Okay, if you get it, leave it in the comments. So anyhow, he finds out while he's there that his brother has been set to be executed, and he's being held in the world's most strongest prison, Impel Down, where he ends up getting assistance from Boa Hancock to go there, and he meets even more stupidly powerful guys, including Magellan, the warden of the prison, who eats the venom fruit. He is extremely toxic, including spreading a deadly poison just by touching him. And even though he manages to break into this place, and he manages to get very far in the place to the point where he even recruits former enemies of his, including Mr. 3 and Buggy the Clown, one of the first villains of the series. They end up basically going rampaging through the facility, and eventually he comes across this crazy leader of an underground trans community inside the prison called Ivankov. Basically they are a takeoff on Dr. Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah, they're like a palette swap with a couple of features changed, but ultimately...
and their character has the ability to inject hormones with the basically syringes that come out of their fingertips.
Yeah.
Because anime. And
and there are all sorts of hormones, some of which make sense.
Yeah.
Like they're actual hormones. Some of them are just, this hormone will make my head grow.
Yeah.
Really big. It's like, that's
not a thing.
Yeah.
But, anyhow, so their character is very funny and probably one of the few like positive trans representation in the franchise, as there is a whole community of people from their homeland that are extremely offensive trans stereotypes, unfortunately. But that aside, Luffy ends up recruiting them as well. They end up breaking out a bunch of more of his former enemies, including the leader of one of the villain teams that he fought back in Alabasta, and
that's Off-White.
He just narrowly misses getting to save his brother in the prison. He ends up having to take everybody he's broken out of their cells and basically escaping the whole prison to go to the Marine headquarters, which is nearby. And it's quite the ordeal. It is crazy how they even managed to pull this off, but Luffy is just the kind of guy who is able to recruit just the right amount of guys that can get the job done. It's almost like a reverse Oceans movie, I guess, in a way.
It's like the Oceans, but the reverse.
Actually, now that I only just now thought of the Oceans connection. Now, the whole series is about traveling the ocean world that they live on. But anyhow, so they end up all getting into this giant fight with the Marines, and Whitebeard, who is like the world's strongest pirate at the time.
And does not have a beard.
Yeah, he actually has a white mustache. In Japanese, the word for beard counts mustache and chin hair as the same thing. It's really, really weird and pedantic, but in any case, huge, long, drawn-out fight that they definitely stretched to hell and back. They really could have shortened it down.
It was as if the storyline ate the gum fruit. And was stretched to its limits.
Good point.
Several of those episodes were the exact same thing, just
there's
over
like,
over
if you're familiar with Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the scene where Sir Lancelot is running towards the camera, he seems to be getting close, and then cut away, cut back, he's just furthest away again, getting closer, cut away, cut back, he's all the way back again. That's pretty much what happens to Luffy. He's constantly trying to rescue his brother Ace, keeps getting close, and then, oh, I'm still so far away. Oh, I get pushed back. Oh, I gotta get closer. Oh, I get pushed. It never seems to end, and it's terribly ill-paced. I definitely feel like they had a quota of episodes they had to fill for whatever reason. Maybe the anime was catching up with the manga or something, as often happens in anime adaptations of popular series. But I'm not entirely sure. I'm not fully aware of how close production was at the time. I mean, we obviously got it several years after the fact, so it's really hard to judge on that front. But in any case, a lot of crazy action happens. Some important characters end up dying. And Luffy ends up getting a severe injury. He's in life-threatening condition, and thankfully, Trafalgar Law, who I showed you earlier, is one of the 11 supernovas. He's the one with the white hat there. He is a doctor, and he's able to save Luffy's life. And as a result, he ends up getting this big X-shaped scar on his chest that ends up becoming his new iconic look after this 2-year time skip where he ends up training to get stronger with the former second in command of the King of the Pirates, who is Luffy's goal. He wants to be King of the Pirates.
Goldie Rogers.
Yes, Goldie Rogers, second in command, Silver's Rayleigh. And yeah, so I kind of wish they'd shown more of his training, but I guess it's not exactly that important. But yeah, they during this 2-year time skip, like I mentioned earlier, the rest of his crew are all happen to be on their own islands, and they're all leveling up their abilities. And Luffy sends a message to the newspaper that he wants them to meet in 2 years instead of the 3 days they were supposed to meet up in. And that's where I finally was caught back up. And in the first arc, they end up finding that after they've been gone for 2 years, a fake crew who show up to exactly the place that they're meeting up in, show up trying to recruit members to their group as they are claiming to all be the Straw Hat Pirates, and they're all ridiculously not them. They're only slightly resembling their wanted posters, and it's totally ridiculous that anybody is thinking these are them, but it's also at the same time they've been missing for 2 years, so I guess people have short-term. I don't know. It's a little far-fetched, but hey, that's anime for you. But after that they go down to Fishman Island, which is an underwater location, which was their big struggle before they got all separated. Is how do we get there? Well, it turns out they have to coat their ship in a special resin that gives it an air bubble, and it's manga/anime type stuff. It probably wouldn't work in reality, but of course in fiction, if you say it does, it does. But in any case, did you have any particular thoughts you wanted to share about any of those sagas? Did you have a favorite?
I think out of all of them, I really liked Thriller Bark.
Oh,
because
okay.
Every character really got to shine in that arc. Every season or every arc, the characters enter together, they get separated, and they all have to fight their way together again through whatever caveats, whether they separated on purpose or on accident. And sometimes the characters don't really have much to do. But in Thriller Bark, they all got a chance to shine. They all got a chance to beat a big bad, not the big bad.
Mm-hmm. Although they did end up fighting together at the end.
Yeah. They always come together at the end. And that was probably my favorite arc. But I also wanted to comment on when Luffy was doing the whole thing with the War of the Best,
Marineford?
Yeah, Marineford. They would have... they would show like little the side stories of all the other characters. And Nico Robins was especially, I thought, different because it had a different art style.
Yeah, slightly.
Than the others. The characters designed were designed to look more like something out of a Studio Ghibli movie as opposed to One Piece, and even Robin was drawn a little differently up until like the last episode, when she was leaving. And I thought it was really neat. It was really neat to see a story that wasn't centered around beating the crap out of people and developing characters. I mean, they all have good and bad, but I would say mostly good. But hers was different. It was sweet, different art style. Just a different feel altogether, and I was like, I could have had a whole movie of just Nico Robins' art.
I think each of the side stories could have gotten even more expounding upon. They apparently there was at least more than what the manga showed, but still, I definitely think they could have shown us more, especially with how some of them managed to get from where they were when they arrived to where they were when they left. Usopp, for instance, ended up really overweight, and somehow when he gets back together with the crew, he's fit again.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think that's so bad because when you're doing weight training, the idea is to eat an excessive amount of calories.
Yeah.
So that you can build up the muscle. I mean, usually it's more balanced.
Yeah.
That didn't bother me as much, although I agree it is a little absurd he'd have all the loose skin and whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing I found most absurd is, how did he get off those islands? There was no...
Yeah, they didn't show any of them how they escaped, other than, I think, Robin and Nami
Robin is shown,
both were implied to have had methods of getting back
Yes.
on their own.
And we could surmise that the others
Zoro
had
had somebody who could have given him a ride.
Yeah, and Sanji also could have.
Oh wait,
gotten a
no,
boat.
they did show him.
Yeah.
He did get shown having a ride back there.
They all, but like Usopp is like
Yeah.
he was a shipwright for a little bit, only in that nobody else had a clue, and he kind of knew what he was doing.
He's an
Who
inventor.
built that boat? Who built the boat to get off those islands? It's just him and some guy with mental health issues. Nothing against him.
Yeah.
Nothing against him, but he
He's
did
a
not
little oddball.
seem that he was put together enough to provide a ship.
And they also did not ever establish why he was there or how he was there.
Yes, there's no backstory on him. He's
just there.
He's just there, and he apparently is actually the kind of warrior he claims to be.
He's very knowledgeable about the place that they're in, and is able to like basically give Usopp all this great advice on how to be. And
and it's like I can believe that, he got the training he needed, and he learned the new tricks that he needed. I want to know how he got away from those islands.
Yeah.
I need to know.
That is a good question.
Also, would he ever go back? Because that food looked delicious.
Yes. He would have to invite Luffy,
A hot dog that grows on a tree? Come on. Sign me up.
I
could eat meat again without the guilt.
Oh, I hadn't even thought of that. Okay. Fair. So, yeah. I don't know if... It'd probably be oh, man. Impel Down was pretty great. And I definitely enjoyed getting to see the like I mentioned, the 11 supernovas in action. But both during this story arc and the right before the time skip, they show a little bit more of them in action briefly. But yeah, come the new episodes after the 2-year time skip, I'm pretty sure every one of them is gonna have at least some kind of dealings with the story. So this was kind of just a tease of their character and how, where they were before they grew stronger, just like the Straw Hats. So it's really interesting getting to get a tease for these characters that are going to be important to some degree at some point in the story. And so those are our thoughts on what we've seen of the anime so far. At least what Azurean's seen. I'm not saying anything beyond where she is. But yeah, once you do, we can watch the next movies. I actually have 2 more movies that I have yet to see as well. We have One Piece Stampede, which is even ahead of where I am in the
Vash in
anime. And One Piece Film Z, which takes place right after the Fishman Island arc. So there's that. But yeah, the movie we did see is Strong World. And this one was very interesting in that it actually starts in media res, which means in the middle of the story. Basically, we skip past a bunch of the prologue stuff and just jump right into the action. Luffy is just being surrounded by these ginormous animal monster creatures that all either want to fight him or fight each other. And we don't know how he got there. It's very confusing. And then, maybe 20, 30 minutes later, we finally jump back to where it all began and how they met this pirate who sails a flying ship, which is very unusual in that there really is no air travel other than by bird, or bird, devil fruit, really, in this world. For some reason, even though they've got all this crazy technology, they don't seem to have ever invented dirigibles or airplanes or any kind of flight-based transport, it seems. But yeah, this guy, Shiki the Golden Lion, we find out he had eaten a devil fruit that gives him the power to make things fly. only non-living things, I believe, non-organic things. Although, for some reason, he doesn't explain, but he implies that he is able to make himself fly for some reason. And that ends up being a big plot point. They mentioned in the anime, they kind of teased his character for the movie, which was coming out at the time, in that he was the first and only pirate to ever escape Impel Down before Luffy broke everybody out, because he can fly. Although they typically put sea prism stone cuffs on their prisoners to keep them from having their devil fruit powers. I don't know how, but evidently he managed to get out of them, or he managed to get in there without them knowing he had devil fruit powers. They don't ever expand on it, as far as I'm aware. But he ends up being this main antagonist that the Straw Hats all have to deal with, as he kidnaps Nami. He finds out that her navigation skills are better than his own team of navigators, and what he wants, he takes, because, he's a pirate. And, so basically he abducts her, he abducts all the crew, and he dumps them on his floating islands, and that's where we get the first part of the story, where they're all separated and having to deal with these giant mutated animal creatures.
Oh my god, how horrible!
Apparently, his big thing is he's been experimenting using this special plant that causes animals to evolve. And there's some really wild different animal creatures, including a six-legged saber-toothed tiger, or was it just a tiger? Was it a saber-toothed tiger or a tiger?
I can't remember. It was just a tiger.
It was okay.
It was like a blue Bengal tiger.
It was like a blue six-legged tiger. And that was definitely one of the coolest designs, I'd say. Or at least the most unique one. So many awesome character designs. It definitely felt worthy of being a movie. The graphics were very high quality. We've seen a couple of the TV specials that just did not live up to the standard of even the regular series there. But this one was definitely worth seeing. I wish we could have seen it in the theater. This was phenomenal. But the weirdest thing is, evidently this released in America during the Water 7 arc. There was a DVD extra where we were meeting the voice actor for Brooke, and in the background, for some reason, they were just playing footage of Water 7, which is the arc before they get to meet his character. And I'm like, why are they playing that there? And then I watched one of the DVD trailers for the anime series, and it's like, coming out now, the final volume of the Water 7 arc. Get it now. I was like, so weird. So this movie came out revealing the character of Brooke, who's actually really tiny at the top here. But he's a significant portion in this movie. He's not just blink and you'll miss him. He's still important in this story. And I thought that was a really strange thing that they released the movie, in America when his existence might not have even been revealed yet. I'm not sure how far along the manga had been released, that if you'd read the manga you'd know him. But in any case, I thought the movie was really cool. The only thing I don't think I really cared for was the villain. The main villain was kind of a weird racial stereotype. He's voice acted by a white guy, and he's kind of given this Jamaican accent, and he's got these big lips, and he smokes a cigar, and he's got for unexplained reasons he's got swords for legs. They never expound upon that. I can only assume he had to cut off his own legs to be able to levitate with his powers. That's just a guess. There's nothing in the movie that says.
Sea prism shackles.
Oh, maybe that could be it. You might be right. Although typically they put them on around their wrists, but maybe that's why they changed it to the wrists. Because it was 20 years ago that he escaped prison from the main story. But the the like I said, all the animal creatures were all really cool. All the Straw Hats got to both wear a couple of different new outfits. There's this one scene
really
where they all get to show up wearing some fancy gangster clothing, like out of some of the flash pages in the manga. Like there's like title pages where they all get to wear these fancy outfits.
And Frankie wore pants.
Yeah, Frankie, who's always in nothing but a bathing suit thong. Finally
Speedos.
wears pants. Speedos, thank you. He finally wears pants for one scene.
It's off as soon as they're able to change it, they're gone.
Also, they all are
scenes.
wielding like these guns and these other like firearm type
Regular
weapons.
guns.
Well,
They're not wacky-do guns.
Kinda, sorta.
They're not
they're
firing
a little
like
advanced.
lasers
you're right.
or like fruit powers or anything.
Yeah.
They're just firing ammo.
Yeah, gunpowder, more than likely powered. But yeah, so there's a lot of really cool moments in the movie. But like I said, for some reason, I don't think the main villain was done as good as he could have been. The series has had so many great like main bad guys. I think every saga that we've had in the series, the main villain of the story arc has always been really cool or had an interesting gimmick or, been, had something about them that was memorable or, really cool about them. And as Impel Down proved, you can have those characters come back and end up becoming, temporary allies with the hero. As much as some of them held kind of a grudge against him, they really couldn't, help but, team up with him because they had, shared goals. And, this guy just did not have any kind of redeeming qualities in that measure. He was just kind of, like an a-hole. And, his powers were, like, just both overpowered and just, I don't know. It's hard to explain him because, as strong as his power is, he didn't seem terribly hard to take down once the final battle happened. Luffy kind of just beats him without too much difficulty once he gets serious. Even though his main claim was like, oh, I was hungry, so I didn't have the strength to fight him. But I don't really remember him getting a big eating montage before the fight. So, I don't know if that was just an excuse he gave or if he ate off screen or what, but in any case, they beat the bad guy, they saved the day, and, all the side characters are all really neat, and, I definitely think even with my talking about the plot here, I still think it's worth checking out because it's very beautiful. There's so many great moments in this movie where all of the characters, both the hero characters and the monsters and the extra characters, get to do fun stuff, and they even get a fun pet that joins them for the adventure. That's really fun. Didn't you like them?
They were adorable.
Billy
because
is so
were
cool.
A bird.
Yeah, okay.
They were an electric bird.
Yes, they were a very cool bird named Billy.
Electric.
Boogie, woogie, woogie. Is that where you're going with that?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're familiar with the series, the characters. Definitely recommend you check out this movie, Strong World. I got this several years ago for $20. It might not even be that much by now. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sure it was very long. But yeah, we haven't done a review in a long time, so I felt like we just had to do a review video here. There's plans to do a full video about the new Ninja Turtles movie we just saw recently.
I like the Turtles.
But I also wanted to try to, include the previous Ninja Turtles movie, The Rise of the Teenage Ninja Turtles movie, which I have yet to see. Azurean has not even seen most of the series yet. I kind of missed the last 2 or 3, 4 episodes, so I'm looking forward to getting to watch those. But yeah, so expect that at some point. And we kind of were supposed to do a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 video, but I don't know. I was just so apprehensive about doing it because it was like pretty much my anniversary video. Is like the first really big video that I made for my channel was the review of Volume 2. I think it was either the first or second movie I ever reviewed on my channel. So I was like really nervous about not doing it big for that video. And yeah, so those are a couple of things that we can expect potentially in the future. We got more birthday videos, eventually. And again, if you got a birthday coming up and you want us to do a video for you, leave a comment. And yeah, you got anything else to add? Or we gotta
it's hot in here.
Yeah, it is. So happy First Day Friday!
Happy First Day Friday! Oh man, you should let me find the. Oh no, I found the cursor right off the bat.
Bye.